So good morning, everyone. Welcome to the fourth annual Century Summit. I want to express a welcome to everyone in the room. It's nice to see after another year on Zoom, so many familiar faces and friendly faces, and also express a special welcome to all the people who are joining us live. We have another 1,000 people, 200 people in the room here, give or take. Another 1,000 will be joining us online. This is our fourth year. It's hard to believe, Laura. This is the fourth time we're doing this. And each year it's grown in depth of conversation. And I think that reflects in some ways realization that we need to think differently about aging and longevity. It's an aging country in an aging world, and that makes us want to rethink the entire arc of life and how we can make more lives longer and healthier and purposeful. And I'm just excited to be here with so many great thinkers on this great topic. One of the things we want to do, apropos of the person sitting on my right, is we wanted to expand the conversation because this is sort of the challenges and opportunities of longer life. Is not owned by any one discipline. So we wanted to expand the conversation. Feel extraordinarily fortunate to be able to partner with the Aspen Institute's Financial Security Program this year to help expand the conversation and bring even more people and more great thinkers into it. So super excited about that. I'm going to introduce Karen in a moment, but before, just a couple footnotes in terms of the program. The program will run today to about 4 p.m. Then we're going to take a break, which is not an invitation to leave. It's a break. We'll have a reception because one of the most special parts of today is going to happen right after the reception for both live and for people on Zoom. We're going to have a panel that includes Bob Putnam, the great author of Bowling Alone, and one of the great thinkers in this country, and Pete Davis, who is the host and producer of a movie called Join or Die. And it's a movie. First, we're going to have Bob and Pete talk about Bob's career work and the movie. And I will say, I don't know if Pete's in the room yet. Good, he's probably good that he's not, because if you told me before I saw it that I was going to watch a movie on social capital, I would not have run to the theater. Do not quote me on this, but I did watch it, and it's fantastic. Not just interesting, but entertaining. And I, of course, admire Bob's life and work and the important issues he's spent his life talking about. But I also learned to really admire Pete's and his sister Rebecca's filmmaking capacity. So I hope everyone stays around for that. I will apologize to the people online. Hope that you join for the panel of Bob and Pete. Because of rights issues, we can't show the movie online. But hope there are other ways. We'll ask Pete about how people can see it if they're not able to see it in person today. With that, I want to introduce Karen Andres, who is the Director of Impact Strategies and Partnerships at the Aspen Financial Security Program. And it's been a real both education about the work of Aspen and a real honor to work with her and her team and all the people who are part of her ecosystem that have been gathered here as part of the event. So it's one of our real goals was to make sure we expand the conversation this year and beyond, and just so grateful for your work in helping us do that.
Oh, thank you, Ken. And it's so thanks to you and the team and the folks at Stanford for inviting us to be part of this. I also apologize, my voice is a bit raspy. I'm coming off of a cold that was given to me by my children. 'Tis the season. If you have kids, you know what I mean, right? 'Tis the season. So Karen Andres of the Aspen Financial Security Program. Our goal is to make financial security a top national priority. And unfortunately, it's quite paradoxical, but here in the wealthiest nation in the world, financial insecurity across the lifespan is actually the majority experience. And so we work at the nexus of policy, market solutions, the social sector, to advance the solutions that households need to have routinely positive cash flow, to be able to afford life's major expenses like housing, childcare, higher ed, to be able to save for emergencies and to be able to save for and finance their retirement after they depart the labor market. So it's a big job. And I will say that we have been really blessed to get to know our friends at Stanford in particular. I'll tell you a little story. Martha Devi came out to one of our events about a year ago. Yes, about a year ago, to our Aspen Leadership Forum on retirement savings. And she was a showstopper, totally wowed all of our group of finance nerds, asset managers, 401k record keepers, right? This is a very dry, I mean, you guys are here, I love you, you know that, right? But it's a very wonky audience.
You tell me that a 401 record keeper is wonky?
I mean, I find it exciting. I find
Okay.
it deeply exciting, but let's be honest, right? In a general audience. But she came out with a new map of life. And really it was a moment where people said, oh my gosh, like we have an opportunity to rethink all of this. And we can't take finance out of the conversation about longevity. How are we going to pay for it? So it's been a real thrill to get to be here and help curate conversations from our network of people, not only from retirement savings, and we're really excited to talk about that, but also the other parts of life that we're going to need to rethink how we pay for, how we fund it, how we finance it. So it's a real thrill. Thanks to you, Ken, and to the team at Stanford for inviting us to be here.
Thank you, Karen. And thank you for pointing out Martha, who is, along with me and Karen, going to be your host for part of these next 2 days. So she'll be up here talking a lot over the course of 2 days, but thank you for introducing her. Laura, so two questions for you, or two themes of the conference, one about funding longer life, and the other about the role of community in supporting more equitable longer life, healthier longer life. Why are those themes important to you?
Well, we have been working at the Center on Longevity now for nearly 20 years on very specific kind of problems that are, or challenges that are facing society. And it was around 2019 when we started work on the new map of life, where we realized that we really needed to boil the ocean, so to speak. That is, we can't just work on retirement. We can't just work on education or early childhood or social norms and retirement practices. We really need to rethink life and how we live it. And so what we're doing at this meeting, with the thanks to you, Ken and Karen, is to focus on retirement. And in part, I think that's because there's an urgency to retirement. We do have an opportunity to rethink these last 30 years of life and how we live them. But we don't have any time to waste, given what Karen has just said. Most Americans today are facing retirement insecurity. And so we need to work quickly. We need to stop daydreaming, and kind of thinking about maybe there's this product, or maybe people could plan differently. Right now, what do we do? And so that's a big piece of it. Community, to me, is representing the larger milieu in which we age, in which we make decisions about our finances and our practices and our relationships with one another, in intergenerational compacts and so on. So that's, I think, why we need to do this. If you'll let me wander on just a minute longer,
Stage is yours.
Really zoom out. Life expectancy nearly doubled in a century. So after millennia of human evolution, where life expectancy creeped up just at a snail-like pace, suddenly we add 30 years to life. Mostly we've been thinking about this in the least creative way possible. We tack them all on at the end. We said, oh no, retirement's longer. We have too many old people, and this is a problem. We don't have to put those years at the end. We don't have to make old age longer and not other ages. There's so much we could do. And my fear on my worst days is that we're going to sleepwalk through this era where we have this opportunity to make really radical change in how we think about our lives. And if we're going to do that, we need to start now. And we need to think about retirement. We need to think about solutions, but we also need to rethink life and how we live it. So that's why we're here. I was talking to a colleague earlier as we were watching people walk in this room. And I said, if you really knew you had to tackle this huge issue, who would you want in the room? And it's this room. It's you all. So I'm inspired when I look around and see who's here to think, we can do this. It is possible. Now, I'm going to add my thanks to you two, thank you, but also to the staff of the Center on Longevity, who allow us to punch above our weight, and add a very
Hear, hear.
special thanks to Martha Deavy for making this particular event and all other things at the Center on Longevity actually work.
And thank you, Laura, for, I'll just say personally, allowing me to collaborate with you and Martha and the team for these last 4, 5, 6 years. It's been very special and an honor. This, I think, officially kicks off the 2023 Century Summit. And I'm really grateful for everyone being here today, both in person and online. And the mic comes back to you.